Some may well call it the younger brother of the Green Hell, which sits beside it. But the Nurburgring that we know and love today is in itself a beast of a racetrack. 16 corners long, with so much racing history and racing pedigree. This is a track that tonight makes its first ever appearance on Monday Night Skippys. This is Club UK and Ireland, Monday Night Skippys in support of Shelter, and it starts now. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Monday Night Skippys here on Racebot TV in support of Shelter. This is Club UK and Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Championship. The checkered flag is out. That will signify the end of qualifying. Whatever lap these guys are on, it is the last one that they will do before they head themselves down to the starting grid for tonight's race. And at the moment, it's Skippys running himself with a 65 1,000th of a second advantage over Simon Povey. Most of the drivers have completed their laps then. We'll get ourselves the opportunity to run through the starting grid in just one moment's time. Wilvinson along with Linus Brotrom and making his Racebot TV debut, the one and only Mr. Jimmy Broadbent. Good evening, Jimmy. Welcome to Racebot TV.
Hello, Will. Thank you for such a fantastic introduction. Very much looking forward to getting this first broadcast of mine with you guys underway, and it's going to be a fantastic one. The last time's race with everything to stand by, so really looking forward to it.
37 drivers are getting themselves ready then for the starting grid for tonight's event. Let's run you through your starting grid then, as everyone has now completed qualifying, and it is going to be John Knievy leading the field to green here in that number 10 machine. He will line up on pole position. Simon Povey alongside him, 65 1,000th of a second back. David Williams in third. He's a third of a second off of pole. And then Fahim Atanides, a good qualifying by him here today. He rolls off in P4. Jake Forrester, Wayne Walker in row number 3. Simon Maltby, Mark Turner in row 4. Running at your top 10 is Mick Watson and Stephen Harpen. We'll show you the rest of the qualifying grid up on your screen. It's a big grid here today, and yeah, we're at the Nurburgring. This is a 16 corner racetrack now. It's reprofiled. In the early 2000s, it used to be a very fast right-left flick, which of course at one point led to Michael Schumacher and Ralf Schumacher falling out of love. That was in 1997. 1999, this track had one of the craziest races in the history of Grand Prix racing. It was the year that we saw ourselves Luca Badour in tears at the side of the racetrack. Marc Genet scoring the first point for Minardi in almost 5 years. So these guys now are on the grid. They're getting themselves ready to head themselves down to the start of this race. Turn number 1, the Yokohama curve. It is a pretty much 180-degree right-hander. Then you head yourselves into the arena section of the racetrack. After you come out of 3, you rejoin the main part of this revamped track. You run down into 6 and 7, historic. Then you head yourselves down to really the tunnel turn, as I like to call it, turn number 8, before the drivers flick themselves into the final couple of corners. Here we are then. Lights are on top of the iRacing.com gantry. Later on, we are racing on Monday night now. Well, who's going to get themselves a good start into 1? This number 10 machine of a good start. Povey's got a good start. Atinides looks as though he's lost himself a couple of positions. So they come down into that first corner, but they are too wide. First question of the day is going to be, Jimmy, will they make it through 1? One car almost caused a huge moment down, and we have got 2 cars who's crashed at the rear of the field.
Just seeing that is a moment. It's so important to get through these first couple of laps cleanly. We saw at Spa many cars were taken out at Pouan the first lap. Doing that, that's not really what you'll be doing. You'll be getting round nice and cleanly straight away, getting a good rhythm, and then find your place on the racetrack.
Well, we're having ourselves a look then up through your field. It was a clean getaway, but Simon Povey has moved himself to the front of the field on lap number 1 here. So Povey now leads this motor race, and drafting as ever will be a critical factor as they head themselves now down in towards sector number 2 for the first time. Now, Linus, this track has got some good fast straightaways. The key one, I think, will be out of 16 into 1, and then also from turn number 12, that very fast run for the flat out 13, and then into the NEK chicane at turn 14 and 15.
Yeah, you'll want some good exit onto these straights so you can utilise the draft as much as possible, because like we've seen before in this series, the draft is huge on these long straights, so you don't want to get a bad exit, because that could lose you 1, 2 or maybe even 3 spots if you're unlucky.
Well then, your top 5 as it stands, it is Simon Povey, number 45 machine, leading the way. John Keaveney running himself in second in the number 10 machine. A little bit of a slide there for him, Atinides, running himself in third. Then it's Commander Sim Sports, number 31 machine there, of David Williams running in fourth. And Jake Forrester will round out your top 5. Good news is all but 2 drivers have made it through the first lap, or almost so. One driver on pit road is Lee Deemer in number 3 P7 machine. Robert Plumley also out of this race early. Now, not many drivers there were doing too much drafting on lap number 1, Jimmy. I think this is going to be a couple of people on a new track like this figuring it out at the start of this one, and it's going to be interesting to see. So I've got a bit of concertina towards the rear with Fraser Williamson, Tim Adcock, 3 wide, oh trouble there, Williamson, and that is also, I don't think that's his own teammate there, no it's not, 073 machine coming together, and they're now barging each other onto pit road, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm just watching the action back there. It's definitely not what we're doing is running into your teammate. I think we had actually had Simon Povey take John for the lead there coming into the chicane at the end of the lap, so he's just slipped in front of John there. But as you were saying before, it's very important to get this track figured out. It's a long track for these cars, over 2-minute lap, so mistakes do compound, so make sure you're hitting the marks every lap, otherwise you're going to end up falling back through the field.
Yeah, and to give you confirmation, that was Fraser Williamson and Ray Sanders who were involved in that incident at the conclusion of lap number 1. Number 7 machine and the number 073 car. Also had, at the rear of the field, Jonathan Aston has had a pretty slow start to this race right now. He's got back 10 seconds behind anyone else in this field. But the 4-car breakaway, Linus, and that means that if these guys can just manage this gap for the time being, well, it's going to be a 4-race on, a 4-horse race very, very quickly.
Yeah, they gotta not pass each other if they don't really have to, and just stay behind each other on the straightaways. If you get a huge run, you pass the car in front, but not into the corners, and that way they'll probably make a break for it, unless Jake can start working with the car behind him.
Down in your pack, you've got yourself Dominic Brennan, Joe Harrison, Carl Daly. These are battling out for 12, 13, 14 on track as it stands right now. Good action going on down on the middle part of the field, and for a quick sprint race like this, Linus, the issue often is there's so much to look at, and these guys, they end up fighting their own micro packs of about 6 or 7 drivers, and sometimes it's very easy to forget that actually if you work not necessarily together, and in tandem, you can actually move yourselves forward as the guys further ahead start scrapping it out.
Yeah, well, like you said, with it being sprint races, these guys, they don't really have the mentality of you got to work together to get somewhere. Because the race is so short, they just want to get wherever they can. And like you say, it's easy to forget that you can actually catch up really quick if you work together. But they need every position they can, and they're going to get it as soon as they can as well.
Breaking news, it looks as though there's issues, technical issues there for the number 10 machine. We'll give you an update, but as it stands, the number 10 machine of John Knievy is going to be classified as out of this event. Huge technical difficulties for him, and we are getting confirmation, yes, at this stage, he will be classified as out of the event. That means we're down to a 3-horse race out front. That's Simon Povey, Fahim Atinides, and David Williams. They are nose to tail right now, and they have a 2.5 second advantage. Williams all of a sudden has just started getting really, really racy, Jimmy.
Well, that was a big shame for John, first of all, because he sort of left a bit of a gap at the front of the pack, and maybe Williams has seen that and seen, right, okay, now I'm not fighting for fourth or third, I'm now fighting for second place and maybe even a win here. So if I were Williams, I'd be in his shoes, I'd be doing exactly the same, harrying Fahim in front of him and then trying to get past him, maybe to try and catch Simon.
Working ourselves now on lap number 3 of 11. The laps do tick off oh so quickly here at the any Monday night Skippy event. Adam Atherton right now scrapping it out with Nathan Davies, number 73, number 23 machine. This is all the way down in P number 17 and 18 on track. And your biggest movers and shakers in this race so far. Biggest mover inside the top 10 here, Jimmy. That is James Steele. He's up 3 positions, started outside the top 10, now running in the 8th position. Only one driver's actually lost spots inside your top 10 to date.
That may be down to a little bit of a small incident at the back, but that's probably not what it is. Like you said earlier on, it's very important these drivers focus on the race as a whole. It's very easy to get caught up in the idea of pack racing. Very easy to get sort of caught up in the 2 cars behind you, 2 cars in front of you. But James obviously was his sights set forward, trying to make up positions and trying to get into that top 6.
Dominic Brennan right on the rear of Mick Watson in the treble 6 machine as he tries to move himself up into the top 10. James Steele actually right behind Simon Maltby. They notice go side by side as they work themselves flat out through this very, very fast corner that leads yourself down to the NGK chicane. And Steele's actually going to have a bit more company as well. That's going to be Stephen Harpham. Steele will have the outside line which switches to the inside into the chicane. Steele able to hold on to that 7th place right now. But that turn number 13, Advan Bogan there, Linus, it reminds me of a bit like Blanchimont, just going in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it's a very similar corner, but you just gotta hold your line and not. If you've got someone next to you, you've got to hold your line, otherwise you're going to be in big trouble.
Stephen Harpin, side by side, Simon Maltby in towards turn number 1, behind Gordon Anderson, scrapping it out with Carl Gailey as well. This is for P13, 14 on track as it stands. Nathan Davis, Adam Atherton going 2 by 2 in towards turn number 1. So plenty of action going on at the front of your field. It is quiet right now. In the middle part of your field, it's quiet at the front as Gordon Anderson is going to try and look around the outside of Carl Gailey as they head themselves then through this grandstand section on lap number 4. And Atinides is now down into P number 3, Jimmy.
Like I said, Williams, I think, as he holds a big drift there going through the forward curve, just about keeping that under control, and that's going to have him right onto his back end again. But like I was saying before, David needs to try and get his the move on if he's going to try and catch Simon now, and that's what he's doing, but that mistake is not going to help him at all.
Yeah, and actually that puts a gap to 1 second. Now, we know that you'll have the draft for about 1.1, 1.2 seconds. Any further back than that, and that could have been disastrous there for David Williams, and actually could have been a scrap for P number 2. Actually, having a look down, that 3.5 seconds looks a lot bigger on the TV screens and what you'd actually think it to be there, Linus, because that 3.5 seconds, it looked like half a straightaway as they headed themselves up through the Michael Schumacher S.
Yeah, these cars are quite quick for being so small, and on a track as fast as this, 3 seconds is quite a long distance, so he'll need to catch up quick if he wants to have a chance to get in the top 3 here, unless they have an accident in front of him.
David Williams still 0.9 of a second back then. He wasn't able to use as much of the draft as one would have thought as they now come down into the NGK chicane. 14, 15, once again. Let's hop on board then with Williams, and you'll notice as we bring that car down through the final corner, turn number 16. Get a look at the speed chart there. Let's see how much David Williams is actually going to gain in towards turn number 1. You can see that Povey's trying to break the draft. He moves himself down to the right-hand side, now to the left-hand side. That's not really blocking because the gap is so large, but we talk about the pack racing mentality. Almost a bit like at the Indy 500 there. Last couple of laps with Montoya and with Scott Dixon and the likes of Elio Castroneves a year ago there, Leonard.
Yeah, I don't really know if that works, because if the car behind you follows you down, it's not really going to break the draft, so I'm not really sure how that works, but it's something they do in Indy, and he's trying to take after it.
Down they come. Exit then of that grandstand section, now heading themselves through turn number 5. Down this short straightaway. It's actually deceptively long, this straightaway, before that left-hand flick in towards turn number 6. As you can see there, you just lose yourself about 20 kilometers an hour as you come through 6, and then you've got to get your braking right for turn number 7. And Jimmy, turn 6 there is a positioning corner. You can't really gain much time there, but if you push too hard, it's a little bit like turn 5 at Daytona. You just mess up your apex in the next corner, and that is where you're going to lose a lot of time. It's actually, we got ourselves 2 cars off. That is Barry West, Aaron Patterson. That is down P26, 27 right now on the exit of the grandstand section.
Watching Alan Patterson try and rejoin the track safely. That car is broken. Alan pulled that over. That's crabbing severely, so I didn't quite see what happened there, but that is a very broken car.
Yeah, we've got ourselves a replay up of that one as we speak. And where did it all start then? Because just having a look there, the number 83 machine of Chris Malcolm. Alan Patterson was there in the mix as well. Barry West, of course. Well, I just caught the rear end of it again there. My replay completely lost as well. But the 2 cars coming together, and that was on the exit of the grandstand section. You saw it on the RaceSpot TV replay. And, well, they are going to try and bring their cars on towards pit roads. But as far as their race goes in the top 20 finish, that is done. Terminal for them for now. Atenides, Williams through the chicane. P number 2, P number 3. That gap is now 1.1 seconds, Linus. And this is where you've got to start thinking, do you want to go for the win, or are you just going to scrap for P number 2?
Yeah, Antonides just took back 2nd place. I think he is the quickest one of the 2, so he wanted to move to the front, and now Williams just got to stay behind and try and help him to catch Povey, because if he tries to get position 2 back, Povey's going to be gone.
Having a look back down in your pack, and let's have a look then. This is the second, actually the 3rd pack as it stands right now. Stephen Harpen leads that one. P7, we talked about his fight with James Steele already. P number 8. Simon Maltby runs himself in P number 9. Dominic Brennan right now in P number 10. In fact, there we have ourselves Brennan and Maltby almost going side by side. They will go side by side into turn number 1. As that track falls away, Jimmy, that is where really you have the chance to go too wide, because it just widens out so much of that racetrack. Gives yourself a perfect opportunity to position your car to the inside into 2.
It almost encourages overconfidence, Will. I mean, the way the track falls away, you think, I can get that little bit of extra throttle in there, and sometimes you end up with this horrible understeering going off to the left, which of course can cost you time, but that's where the big overtaking spot is, breaking down to that right-hander there, and Stephen Hartman being harried now by James still coming around to the forecourt.
Yeah, Russ Lowe, by the way, is classified as out of the race. Let's figure out what happened to him in a moment's time, but we've still got ourselves 4 times per second separating P 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. Having a look to try and figure out what happened to Ross Lowe, actually, in at that number 19 machine. And I can't actually see anything right now. So, there we are. But further up, Jake Forrester right now, onto the rear of Mark Turner. And all of a sudden, from nowhere, Jimmy, we have ourselves Povey, 1.2 seconds ahead of Williams, who's 1 second ahead of Atenides.
Yeah, I've just noticed that actually. It's very interesting. It seems that Antonides has just sort of pulled the bit out now as actually went a little bit wide there coming on. Oh, sorry, that was David Williams coming to the straight there. So that's probably why he's pulling away a little bit. Dave may be trying a little bit too hard now. I was just looking back down the field, sorry, Will. I noticed that Ryan Walker seems to be one of the big movers in Shaky. He's up to 4th place. Yeah,
Walker is moving right now. And running himself in at that number 1 machine. Up 2 positions so far. Turner's up 3 positions. Steele and Harpen continuing to battle once again. P7, P number 8, as they've been battling pretty much now for the last 4 laps or so. And Linus, we've also had ourselves into the 73 machine down in your field right now. But this battle between Steele and Harpham is fantastic to watch.
Yeah, it's a great battle, and he's been leading a 10-car pack that's turned into an 8-car pack now, and every time they come into this section here at the start of the lap, they all get bunched together, and it looks great to see these many cars being together on the track.
Yeah, in fact, they're going to head themselves in towards turn 1 once again. There is Harpham and Maltby. We talked about, Harpham, Maltby, and then also just James Steele ahead of them in that number 5 machine. And, well, you can see Harpham's putting a lot of pressure on through turn number 2. He can't make the move in towards 3 or 4 at all. Almost runs into the rear, though, in towards turn number 4. Mighty close, and that will cost him the chance then to make a move on the exit of this grandstand section. Number treble 6 machine of Mick Watson scrapping it out right now down in P number 14 with a couple of other drivers. This is Gordon Anderson. You got yourself Carl Gailey and also Dominic Brennan all here in this fantastic little mid-pack scrap there, Linus.
Yeah, good move by him on the exit of that section to get that position, but they got to be careful so they don't lose the front two, because they've got some speed, and if they can break away, this is going to turn into a 6-car pack pretty quickly.
Well, just a quick thing here on YouTube. Am I supposed to call you Jimmy B, Jimmy?
No, you can call me Jimmy. I can go with Jimmy, that's alright. Just Jimmy.
I was about to say, it's almost as if you're the second most anticipated debut that I've seen this weekend after AJ Styles, for those that want a wrestling reference. But this retirees, Ross Lowe, Alan Patterson, Fraser Williams, Tom Knievy and Robert Plumley, all classified as out of this event side by side. Then Harpham. This is with that driver of Steele once again. This time by the winner, well, it's going to be James Steele one more time. Harrison scrapping it out though with Harpham as well. Put Brennan into that mix. We know how fast Brennan can be in the closing stages of this event. And, well, it seems to me that all the battles out front have died down for a moment, Jimmy. But we still got some great scraps going on in your middle pack. And, well, Harpham versus Steele once again into the chicane. And that time, actually, Harpham almost clipped off the entire front wing of James Steele.
Very defensive driving there by Harpham. You do have to be careful though, because these cars are fragile, as you can see. If you go back to I guess Simon Mulby, sorry, you see his front wing is starting looking a little bit worse for wear. But I'm just now, watching Stephen Harpham come down the straight and noticing that these guys are now starting to pull away a bit from the rest of the pack.
They are. And they're getting themselves, what, 6 tenths of a second advantage over Gordon Anderson, because they're going to go 1, they're going to go 2, they're going to go 3 wide in towards turn number 1. Well, yeah, it's going to work easily enough there. It's not as if we're running at Summit Point like we were yesterday, but that's going to work. 3 wide into 2, they'll do that again, and that is the number 8 machine of Gordon Anderson, then Dominic Brennan, and then Carl Gailey is right behind him on track right now. 3 drivers, in fact. Brennan and Gailey will stay side by side as they head themselves out of the grandstand section, Linus.
Yeah, good job by them all holding their lines there. The only thing with that is they've lost quite a lot of time to the front 4 and the cars in front of him, so they're going to have to single file up pretty quickly now and hope they start scrapping in front of him.
4 laps to go, 3.5 laps to go of this event. Give you an update, by the way. Williams has been caught again by Atenides. However, 1.6 seconds is the deficit to David Williams. Linus, at this stage of the race, do you try and work together the next 2 laps to see if you can catch Simon Povey, or is it just game on between these 2 now?
Well, I think they're going to have to try and catch Povey and then have a race at the last lap, maybe last half a lap, but they'll notice pretty quickly if they can catch him or not, and if they can't, they're just going to start battling each other, because the gap down to the car in 4th place, Ryan Walker, is 7 seconds, so they're not running the risk of losing to him as long as they don't tangle.
Not at all. To give you an update, by the way, Maltby in P10 has a 1.2 second advantage over Gordon Anderson right now, so we have separated that second pack into 2 as it stands. Dominic Brennan and Carl Gailey still there right behind. It's further down the pack, things have started to calm down just a little bit. Ray Saunders versus Jack Lane is going on. 3 wide in towards the chicane. 707 machine 212 threading the needle there as Dominic Brennan, will move himself up a position, and Harpham still scrapping it out there, Jimmy, with the driver of Simon Maltby. That's just ahead as well. I think that's Jake Forrester moving up 1 position. It's time to get crazy.
These guys have been going 2 by 2 for most of the lap now, weaving down the straight, just trying to find that little bit of draft. Getting right up behind now, James still I think is in front of him, coming up now to turn 1, and who's out on the inside? They've lost out tremendously, they have got no draft there, sort of going for the defensive line, but I'm not sure they're going to hold it. Here we are, turn 1.
Ooh, got a car in the grass, and he's going straight through.
Who was that?
I don't know, that reminded me a little bit of Takuma Sato back in Austria a couple of years ago.
That was Carl Gailey there, who had a big mistake. Let's see if we can find out what happened to him quick.
Yeah, let's get ourselves another look at that one. Down in towards turn number 1. And Stephen Harpham there is the big loser in all of that one. You know what? That was just like Takuma Sato in Austria back in 2002, Linus.
Yeah, the thing is here, he didn't go straight into the side of the other car. He just clipped the rear of it, but that could have been a lot worse than it was.
Yeah, and we have, as a consequence, Stephen Harpham on pit road. He's going to be very angry after that one. It's the number 9 machine now on a pit road and classified out of this event. But still, action is going on. We've got ourselves Dominic Brennan, Simon Maltby side by side right now as they are heading themselves down in towards a 180-degree right-hander, which in America, Jimmy, would have to be called a carousel. But this mid-pack right now, it's as if they're setting themselves up to go 2 wide, 4 deep, all the way through this final lap.
Well, it's kind of going for the Schumacher-esque now, and this is it. People are now starting to position themselves in places they want to be for this last lap, and it's all about now getting your car in the right place on the road. I'm just watching, Gordon Anderson with the front end of his car missing at the moment. He's right up behind Dominic Brennan coming into this onto the straight now, so we could see another overtaking attempt up into the chicane.
Yep, through the chicane they will come then. 2 laps to go now of this event. There are your top 10. Let's run through them. Povey leads by 2.7 seconds over Atanides. Then 3 times back is David Williams. Ryan Walker runs on an island by himself right now, but he is under a bit of threat from Mark Turner, who runs in P5. Forrester runs in 6th. Then Joe Harrison in 7th. James Steele in 8th. Dominic Brennan in 9th. And then Gordon Anderson rounds out your top 10. This little freeway battle here between, having a look there, between Ryan Walker, Mark Turner, Jake Forster. Not really talked about this one too much, Linus. It's Fahim Atanides. We're getting word it's hit a lapped car.
Yeah, he taken second place, and they caught up to a lap car in a very, very bad spot, and the lap car was on the racing line, and he just tapped the rear of it and spun it off the track. But he's still going, so I don't think he's got any severe damage from it.
Yeah, number 21 machine's actually gone very wide there. I believe that is a lapped car down, as we have still got Atanides versus Williams to sort out. We've got ourselves Steele versus Harrison right now. 2 wide, 2 deep, exit of the grandstand here. Well, we've talked about it here, Jimmy. It's going to happen. It's happening already.
This coming out of the arena is not where you're going to be going 2 by 2. The course just pinches up there, and that's where you see a lot of crashes, a lot of people being turned around here. I'm just watching again. We're going back to James Still and Dominic Brennan. Dominic Brennan looks like he's going to go up the inside or have a go there anyway. Not quite, but having another go at the full curve, no. He's being very careful to tap the back of James Still there, because you've seen how light these cars under load, and if you tap the back of them, you pretty much push them back round with your hand as you want them to. Very light at the back of the car.
Jake Forster, P number 6. Mark Turner, P number 5. David Williams in 3rd, up to the rear of Atanides.
Sorry, Will Brennan just spun, nearly took James Still with him, just about kept it going though, but that's him out of that fight.
And that was down at the end of sector 2. Is that on the run up in towards the chicane?
That was just coming out of the hairpin.
Yeah, and there we go. Oh, that was a huge one. And I'll tell you one thing. Number 8 machine, very lucky not to be involved in that one. That was Gordon Anderson, who narrowly missed there, the driver of Dominic Brennan. But here comes Simon Povey then. He has completed 9 laps. He will see the white flag once he comes out of this corner. Battle for P number 2 is up on your screens. Linus, 1 more lap to settle this.
Yeah, I've been watching this for the last lap, and David Williams had quite a few chances to get past Antonides, but every time he's backed down and stayed behind him, so I think he's waiting to the end of this lap to try and make a move.
Playing the waiting game. We see it so often here on both Monday Night Skippies and on Sunday Night Skippies. Williams just touched the white line in towards turn number 1. It's going to cost him a little bit, but not too much. James Steele with Joe Harrison side by side, almost in towards turn number 1. On the left-hand side, it's going to be Steele. Oh, we've got a car blown up ahead of them. He's got it out of the way, but that is going to really distract these drivers in towards that first turn. I talk about that. Still runs right into the rear of Joe Harrison, Jimmy, and that car is still smoking ahead of them.
Yeah, that was Jake Forster there, so that's actually a very bad luck for him. That's something he's lost out there, definitely. But that car is going to be throwing oil and stuff all over the place. You're going to be having oil in your helmet and your visor. Very distracting, especially when you're fighting in this last lap.
Well, it means now that some guys are battling for a top 5 that they thought that they might not have been. As it stands, Williams is still 3 tenths of a second behind Fahim Atinides as they head themselves now through the 180-degree corner, through now into the Michael Schumacher S for the final time in this event. Simon Povey has got this race under control. He's got himself a 3.6-second advantage, but here is Williams. He's looking for P number 2 as they head themselves for the final time in this race down in towards the one-stunner curve. Turn number 11, that left-hand flick before you come down into 12. From there on in, you're going to be flat out all the way down to the chicane. Couple of outstanding battles as well. Dominic Brennan trying to claw back some positions. He's behind Simon Maltby as it stands. You've also got yourselves a 4-way battle going on between Malcolm, Watson, Anderson and Thurston. But here we are then, Williams versus Atinides, down to the inside. Will go David Williams, and it almost looked academic there as we cycle it back through to Simon Povey. We'll keep you updated on the outstanding battles for the final part of this race. Povey out at the final corner for the final time. He will claim victory here at the Nurburgring. Further on back, Williams can hold on just there from Fahim Atinides. It will be Williams in second, Atinides in third, and then Walker will round out your top 4. In terms of the drivers behind him, we were thinking they were going to go absolutely crazy there, Jimmy. Actually, it was a rather subdued final lap.
I was saying that, James Still just going right up the other side of Joe Harrison, right on the last corner to take away. I think that was 6th place, so good job on Still there. But that was that was intelligent driving from David Williams, like you said, just backing out there, Linus, backing out, just coming up to you the last lap, waiting for his chance. And it doesn't matter where you are on the second to last lap; it matters where you are when you cross the line.
Sometimes, Linus, it doesn't have to be cute, it just has to be good, and that is what Williams did. James Steele getting himself that P7 he spent the entire race scrapping for as well. We'll show you the final race results in just one moment's time, but well, as I say, that final lap was a little bit subdued in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was a case of people just wanting to get to the end. I mean, there were quite a few instances at the end there where people we had Forrester blowing up his engine, which is a very distracting thing to do, especially in the last lap, mostly downshifting a bit too quickly. A couple of cars with contact, quite a few cars with damage, so maybe just sort of limping home at this point.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, let's run you through your final race results here. Music! There we are. Let's run you through your final race results. I'm used to being the one hitting the button myself there. Well, here it is. Simon Povey, 4.2 seconds there, the gap between himself and David Williams once this race was complete. Fahim Atinides in third. Ryan Walker in fourth, and then running out your top 5 was the driver of Mark Turner. James Steele at the end was able to get himself ahead of Joe Harrison. Dominic Brennan in 8th, Remote B in 9th, and then Chris Malcolm even rounds out your top 10. P number 11 through 15 reads a bit like this: Mick Watson, Gordon Anderson, Paul Thurston, Martin Fox, and then Adam Atherton. With Carl McGee in 16th, Ian Robson 17th, Nathan Davies, Mark Murphy, and Dean Bloomfield running out your top 20. Rest of the results coming up on your screen. Gonna hand it over to Linus Bostrom, and he stood by the driver of Ryan Walker. He came home in P number 4.
Yeah, good race there, Ryan, and good battle. And how do you feel about coming home in 4th place after such an intense race?
Yeah, I'm over the moon with that result. I definitely worked hard for that, that's for sure.
You had some really, really good scraps all the way through. And what did you think when you saw Forrester out there at the end?
When I seen Jake go out towards the end there, it definitely lifted the pressure off a little bit. But on the last lap, I still had to keep an eye on Mark, because every time he was a little bit quicker than me, and he was getting, especially in the final sector, he was getting a good run on me. So I just had to basically just keep keep it tidy on the last lap, and I managed to do that and finish in P4. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, well done to you, and congratulations on your 4th place. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, that was Ryan Walker there coming home in P number 4. Overall, Jimmy, not a bad first race to commentate on Racebot TV.
No, I mean, I was quite surprised. Now, personally, I never really enjoyed the Skip Barber series. I like stuff a little bit faster than that. But 37 cars on this track, plenty of action throughout, some fantastic driving, especially from the likes of Simon Povey obviously coming away with it, and David Williams with that fantastically intelligent move right at the end there. You know, it's a bit of a treat, really. I'm quite happy I got to join you guys. Thank you very much for having me.
That's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, on a slightly, I'd say sad note, but for most of you guys, you're probably going to enjoy it anyway. This is, unfortunately, going to be the last Monday Night Skippy race I do for, shall we say, a while. I might come back at some point to do the odd race here and there, but it's about time that we handed the reins over to a team who's done fantastically on bringing Monday Night Skippies to you in Sports Shelter over the course of the last couple of months or so, whilst basically I've been sat in an office hitting my head against the wall. So Rachel Whiteford, Linus Bontroff, thank you so much for covering the fort for the last couple of months, and hopefully, just hopefully, you guys will continue to do it the justice the series deserves even over the next couple of months, Linus.
Yeah, we'll do our best. I hope Rachel will get better so she can get back for next week, and hope we can continue doing this until the series decides to retire.
Yeah, well, we've been covering Monday Night Skippies now for over 18 months. That shows our commitment here to some of the best racing here on the iRacing.com service. And, well, don't forget, we've got ourselves Racebot Primetime starting very soon as well. On Wednesdays, you get to pick your favourite open wheel series for us to broadcast every Wednesday night through March all the way through to June. Then on Thursday nights, we've got a bit of a surprise. We'll talk to you about that one soon. And then on Friday nights, it's exactly the same, just with GT-style cars. You choose the series. We broadcast it. That's Racebot Primetime in 2016. In the interim, Hugo, hit the music. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for everyone who's been a part here of Racebot TV tonight on Racebot Primetime, streaming live on iRacing Live. This has been a presentation of Monday Night Skippies in support of Shelter. It is the Club UK and Ireland Skip Barber Racing School Series. Thank you very much to Hugo Louise on cameras, to Jimmy Broadbent, and to Linus Bromstrom. I've been Will Vincent, and as always, we'll talk to you all next time. Bye-bye.